what is going on, guys? It is your boy Deuces, and today we are talking about One Piece and whether it is as trash and overrated as everyone likes you to believe. Now, I feel like a huge reason why this is said is simply because the anime is damn near 1,000 episodes, and most normal people don't want to sit down and watch 1,000 episodes worth of content, even though it's, for the most part, it is worth it. But there's also a lot of arcs and a lot of things that happen that are just really freaking stupid. So I'm not in the party of people that thinks One Piece is trash, but I guess you could say that I am a huge member of the party that says One Piece is overrated. Now, I know I can already hear people clicking off of the video, but I'm someone who stood with One Piece my whole life. I actually lived through the infamous 4Kids dubbing of One Piece, and when everybody shitted on it growing up, I would still watch One Piece every Saturday morning. I did not care. I thought Luffy was the GOAT, which I still do. I like Luffy. But that brings me to my first topic of the video, and it's the fact that Luffy, as the protagonist, is kind of extremely boring. And for that, for this video, I'm going to compare One Piece to Bleach and Naruto, simply because they all came out at relatively the same time, and they're all known as the Big Three. But Luffy is the most boring out of the Big Three. And what I mean by that is we don't see Luffy put in any hard work until after Marineford, until after Ace dies. Which is very sad because if you compare it to the other two protagonists, we watch Naruto from the jump train his ass off. Naruto's trash at being a ninja. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of the series, the only move he has on his side are shadow clones, a move he learns from the Forbidden Scrolls. As for Ichigo, Ichigo gets his powers given to him, and he's pretty good for the beginning, but after fighting Grand Fisher, it all kind of goes downhill. Grand Fisher's the hollow that killed his mom, and he's not even able to revenge that. And then soon after that, Rukia goes missing, and when he goes to save her, he swiftly gets defeated by Byakuya, resulting in a training arc with Urahara. Luffy has no training arcs until 400 plus episodes into the anime, damn near 500. Like, think about it like this. Luffy beats everybody basically off of past experiences. Luffy beats Crocodile because he lost to him twice. Luffy loses to Crocodile twice. And finally, on the third time, he comes with some water, and that's the way he's able to beat Crocodile. Which, by the way, that's going to go into a subject I have later on, which is going to be the very poor writing of the One Piece antagonists. But it takes Crocodile 2 chances. Crocodile beats the protagonist twice and is still incapable of capturing Alabasta. You know, that's a side point, but I'm just throwing that out there, dude. That's pretty insane to me. And then on top of that, he doesn't beat him through training or anything. He literally does the same shit he's been doing the whole show, but pours water on his fucking hands. And it's after that arc, it's after the Alabasta arc, where I think One Piece starts taking a shit. Now, I love the Alabasta arc. I think it's the first big arc where we get all the everything we've built up to that point, and we get it awesomely, as well as still obtaining a new member for the group in Nico Robin. But there's the point that Crocodile couldn't capture freaking Alabasta after beating the main protag twice. That still rubs me the wrong way, though I accept it because, you know, pouring water on his hands and the fact that Crocodile is sand and the way sand reacts to water, it makes sense, right? It makes sense, I guess. So I'll give it to him. But after that, it just takes a whole downhill freaking arc. Like, we just go downhill after that, as we get And I've said this on Twitter multiple times, and I'm gonna say it right now, and I don't care. This is my hottest One Piece take. Skypia is the worst arc in shonen history. Skypia is fucking trash. It is so beyond bad. Like, I would rather watch Psycho-Pass Season 2 all over again than freaking watch Skypia arc again. Skypia is a piece of shit arc. Because we get like, it starts out okay, right? Like, we get introduced to Eneru, and, you know, he's a god. We have lightning coming out of freaking nowhere, murking people on sight. And we're just like, yo, what is happening? Is there an actual god after these people? Like, what is good? Until we inevitably realize that it is actually a guy who's based off of Slim Shady, based off of freaking Eminem, which I didn't know until after the fact, but I think that's pretty cool. Pretty much, he's a Logia Lightning Devil Fruit user. Now, the craziest thing, Luffy's a rubber man, which means he can take a lot more damage from Eneru than Eneru could take from Luffy. Because no matter what he throws at Luffy, Luffy's only getting a third or a fourth of the damage. So, right there, we take probably one of the coolest antagonists with probably a really cool Devil Fruit, as well as it being Logia, and we instantly nerf it. Like, we instantly make it look way weaker than it is. But, you know, maybe we can get some payout from him at another time. Like, he'll lose the boss fight, and then we'll see him later on in the series. We haven't seen Eneru since, and we're at almost 1,000 episodes. And Eneru, quite literally, I believe, flew up to Mars after the whole arc. Absolute shit. Really boring and really anticlimactic for such an awesome start. On top of the fact that we also get kind of like a Native American looking tribe that rides on the gliders. And they're supposed to be a believable, quote unquote, believable force to take out Eneru. And it's like, dude, I don't think you could beat up a turkey sandwich, honestly. Because you guys are, if y'all could have beat Eneru, you would have done it already. But no, you need Luffy and a bunch of outsiders to help you. On top of that, Zoro has a fight with that guy's, I can't remember his name. He's that relevant of a character to me, to the point where I don't care enough to freaking search it up. I don't want to see anything about Skypia. So Zoro gets into a fight with that guy's right-hand man, which is and it's supposed to be a believable fight. Like, he's supposed to be a challenge to Zoro, when he's not. I'm convinced Zoro could beat the main freaking Native American guy. So how the fuck am I supposed to believe that his right-hand man is supposed to be a threat to Zoro, of all people? Absolute trash. Like a garbage water arc. The only good thing about Skypia is the freaking is the shell that Usopp gets from there, that which he uses in the next arc, Water 7, an absolute banger arc, by the way. That and Enies Lobby are just the amazing freaking arc for One Piece. And yeah, that's the only thing we get. Usopp gets the shell from Skypia, which he uses to defeat Luffy in Water 7. That's it. That's the biggest thing we get out of Skypia. The biggest. There's nothing else at all important about it. Which then brings me to Water 7 and Enies Lobby. Like I just said, banger arc. Like, it feels like Oda, after every really amazing arc, we just get an arc that is supremely shit. Because after Water 7, oh man, we get Thriller Bark. And Thriller Bark is such a boring freaking arc. And I'm gonna bring up the ruling, or not ruling, but what I said earlier about poor antagonists. One Piece has this thing where they have, they're coward antagonists, but I'm gonna just say the word I want to say. Pussy antagonists, bro. Antagonists that are pussy as fuck. but are supposed to be believable enough to defeat Luffy. I'm sorry, bro. Gecko Moria was gonna get his shit rocked from the beginning of the arc. Like, I knew there was no way Gecko Moria was gonna beat Luffy. But the rest of the arc was still shit. Because we get introduced to another character, Perona, who has the ability to maybe even defeat some of the higher ranking members of the Straw Hats, but loses to Usopp because Usopp is already so naturally negative that she can't make him a negative, which is honestly a really funny fight. And I understand Perona wasn't supposed to be, a crazy big threat, but that one interaction, even though it was funny as hell, did remove all the pressure out of the fight. And all the pressure out of her character, because now she's just, a sidekick to Dracula Mihawk? Like, it just, like, it's taking, like, a pretty cool character that could have been something and absolutely shitting on it. And by the way, in this arc, there's so much irrelevant shit going on. Luffy getting taken out of his own body to become basically zombie Luffy and fight Oars. It was such a freaking boring fight. Like, the only good thing about Oars, or the good thing that came out of Oars, was the fact that we got to meet his son, who had a much bigger role than him in the Marineford arc. And besides that's it. Like, that arc has such little highlights, but it's a very long arc. Like, bro, I can tell you the highlights on one hand. Zoro beating the ghost to obtain the sickest looking sword he has, and the third sword to his collection that he's been looking for. The meeting of Oars. Nami meeting the one hippo chick, turning her back to normal, who ended up being Big Mom's daughter. That was a huge meeting. And meeting Bartholomew Kuma and everything that happened between him and Zoro. I have to say that Zoro had the much more important arcs in this arc than our protagonist, which is absolutely insane. Zoro had got his third sword, as well as took all the damage off of Luffy to save his life, and then got it put all onto him from Kuma. And he did it standing there like the most badass dude, and when asked what happened, he said nothing. Bro, Zoro is a goat. And that's pretty much everything important from Thriller Bark. Now after that, we get, what is even after Thriller Bark? Oh, Impelled Down, which has some more problems for me because it reintroduces Crocodile. And I have to say this, and this is, I'm kind of trying to intervene the one point of Luffy being a boring antagonist on top of the point of bad antagonist writing. Crocodile comes out of jail talking about how he's going to give Whitebeard a taste of his mind. The guy who lost to Luffy 300, 200 episodes before that, lost to Luffy before Gear 2nd, before Gear 3rd, is saying that he's going to come out of jail and basically slap Whitebeard? It's not believable. And that's the thing. With the way Crocodile lost, he wasn't able to capture Alabasta after beating the protag twice. He's not a believable antagonist anymore. He's not. Like, when he says intimidating things, I'm not intimidated because I know he's probably going to get his shit rocked by everybody. Because who believably in the Marineford arc could he beat? He can't beat Luffy, which instantly means he can't beat Aokiji, which means he can't beat the other two freaking admirals. Because if, they always say, oh, the admirals, it's an admiral level fighter. It's kind of like Bleach where they say, oh, a captain level fighter. Like, if we seen Aokiji absolutely shred the Straw Hats, Aokiji's gonna fucking shred Crocodile. So, which instantly leads me to believe that Akainu and Kizaru can both also shred Crocodile. Which also proves my point. Why the fuck is Crocodile presented to me as a believable antagonist when everything you guys have shown me beforehand doesn't add up? Jesus, man. It's just things like that piss me off. Besides that, you know, Impel Down was an okay arc. He tried to save Ace, but couldn't before his execution. So he rounded up as many former enemies and allies as he could. Went to Marineford, which is probably the peak of One Piece, as that arc is awesome as hell. Blackbeard is an amazing antagonist. Even though I talk shit about the antagonists of this show, there are some saving graces, and even though there's not many, you know, like for me, it's really Akainu. It used to be Doflamingo until the end of Dressrosa, which I will get to. Akainu, freaking Kaido, and Blackbeard. Those are like the only three credible antagonists to me at this point. And I know someone's gonna say, "Oh, what about Kizaru? Oh, what about Fujitora?" Fujitora is a secret. It's pretty much an anti-hero. I don't think he's gonna be on their side for too long. And Kizaru is so damn lazy that I don't think, even though he is a threat, I just don't think he's as much as a threat as the other three I presented. But I'll put him in the fourth slot. So literally, that's just my problem. That's my only problem with Marineford. Other than that, everything's gas. Then we get freaking God. What's the post arc? What's the post time skip arc called, bro? The underwater arc. I can't remember the name. I know it's not Marineford, even though I keep thinking it because marine life. But freaking yeah, the underwater arc where they go and pretty much meet Jinbei. Which, by the way, the only good thing that arc has is Jinbei healing Sanji. Other than that, the whole arc is literally just there to show us how freaking OP they've gotten since the time skip. Like, freaking Hody Jones by himself is just not a believable antagonist. Like, he's just so classic shonen antagonist. Like, oh, I escaped prison, now I got a bunch of bad guys, and we're gonna take over. Which One Piece has an amazing track record with taking over. You know, the protag can get his ass whooped twice and they still can't capture the place. Now he has time skip buffs, so I know for sure he's not gonna fucking lose. And oh my god, after a 30-40 episode arc, he didn't lose. Who would have known? Freaking God. So after that, we get to Punk Hazard. Possibly, it's a decent arc, but it absolutely murders Smoker as a character. Smoker loses 4 times in this arc, by the way. And Smoker is the first person to defeat Luffy in the whole series. Smoker was Luffy's first loss after just always winning everything. And as the first time we see him after the time skip, he is absolutely freaking garbage. He loses to Law, gets knocked out by freaking this guy, Caesar Clown's Gas, loses to Virgo, and then gets his ass whooped by Doflamingo right after all that. Like, literally, Smoker is made into a bitch. Because what we're led to believe is that Luffy is way stronger than Law. And if Law could beat Virgo, that means Luffy could freaking destroy Smoker. Like the guy who first beat Luffy at the beginning of the series is now not even a challenge for the protag, which is freaking lame as hell. So now I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna wrap this up. It's almost been 20 minutes. But freaking Doflamingo gets introduced. Now Doflamingo's a badass guy, man. Like, he was built up so freaking awesomely. Like, he was in the war arc, talking shit to everybody. He didn't care who he was murdering. He didn't give a fuck. Like, he's just an absolute badass. We get introduced to his arc, which Dressrosa is a pretty decent arc. I'm not gonna cap. But the ending of it really pissed me off, and it honestly really ruined Doflamingo as a character for me. And what I mean by that is Doflamingo is presented as this absolute badass this whole time up until the arc. In the arc, he's shredding everybody, throwing little fire, the fire things. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the fire strings he has. Like he has strings and he can make it on fire. So he was just shredding everybody. Then Luffy pulls out Gear 4th. Doflamingo is still capable of outlasting Luffy's Gear 4th. So then he ends up in a game of freaking tag with Law, because Law has to run away for about 2-3 episodes, Luffy in arms, and play just a giant game of tag with Doflamingo, who's someone who could easily murder Law, as we've seen earlier in this same arc. And Doflamingo is fast as all hell. He can use his strings to fly through the sky necessarily. And he still cannot catch Trafalgar Law after 2 times. And then after that, we get Gear 4th again. And instead of like a new move being busted out or something crazy happening, he does the same thing he does the first time he does Gear 4th. But this time it just works. Which is so freaking lame to me. Like, why didn't you just have him beat him in the first place? Like, I didn't need 2-3 episodes of tag. Nobody needed that. And it just goes to a bigger problem of pacing with One Piece, which is probably its biggest problem. You know, it has damn near 1,000 episodes. But yeah, that's about it. Freaking Luffy in his fights never feels in danger. Like, Luffy has such an amazing track record, and we don't really see him get beat down so bad to the point that he can't move. The only time he does get beaten down to that point is the end of Thriller Bark, but then his best friend takes all that pain for him anyways. So, it's like, it's literally like, it's boring. It's boring. Like, he's written almost like a god. And it's just such a boring freaking take on things. On top of the fact that most of the antagonists get ruined when Luffy beats them, it's just such a... It's a boring approach. While there's good moments in One Piece, there are also several bad ones. Anyways, I'm freaking exhausted, guys. This has been Deuces. And I hope I convinced you whether the game or the anime was good or not. Anyways, I'll talk to you next time.